Hey everybody, Bandicoot Commando here and welcome back to Marvel Rivals. Last time I did Devil Dinosaur. I did some gameplay of him. He is he lives up to being a tank. Like really, he's similar to Venom and Thing in the sense that once he's in the fight, you really can't ignore him. He's really just one of those things where it's like you got to get rid of him because otherwise he's just going to be an annoyance and break up your formations and such. Can't really afford to ignore a big red dino. So, today we are going to read some lore. So here's the thing, I checked every character to see if they got any new lore, and no, no one has new lore except for Devil here because he got added in. So yeah, we're just gonna read Devil Dinosaur's lore. Just Devil Dinosaur, that's all he's known as. Don't let his name scare you. Devil Dinosaur is actually a gentle giant, but with razor-sharp fangs, a mighty sweeping tail, a thunderous roar, and a force field shield gifted by his human partner Moon Girl, it's no wonder why heroes and villains alike are intimidated by this prehistoric powerhouse. Oh, I was gonna say, where's the cursor? There's the chrono armor, and here's his other color, Tropical Beast. Okay, so I got this terrifying prehistoric death machine living in my monster kingdom, right? But the big guy just had to bring in all the dragon fruit left over in on the Staten Island port until his pointy bits turned entirely pink. I literally just said, look at a little magenta over there, big guy. We're totally color clashing. And he threw a massive tantrum and vanished. Still haven't found the overgrown gecko. Yeah, let's get it. Alright. Oh, I never did, I mean, sure. If that's how Tyrannosauruses sit, sure. Chrono armor and his spray. Oh, girl. Devil Dinosaur and Lunette Lafayette. I just like that his signature is just claw slashes while she writes her name down. Ripped across dimensions from a prehistoric world, Devil Dinosaur found a best friend in the young genius Moon Girl. This dino-rific duo keeps Manhattan's Lower East Side safe with the perfect balance of brains and brawn. When the time stream entanglement hit, Devil was sucked into a temporal anomaly and ended up on display in the collector's gallery. Devil eventually escaped and found sanctuary in Deadpool's Monster Kingdom on Staten Island. Upon receiving Moon Girl's distress signal from inside the time-tossed Alchemex HQ, Devil stomped into action to save his BFF. The devil in the details. Make way, nerds! Deadpool shouted as he burst through the doors of the Baxter Building's research lab. Deadpool's here, and he brought a friend. Behind Deadpool, a giant red dinosaur ducked his enormous head down so that he could fit through the lab's entryway. Despite his terrifying presence, the prehistoric beast's energy seemed far more reserved than the man who had just walked in before him. Reed Richards looked up from his work, completely ignoring Deadpool as he stretched his elasticized neck across the room to take a closer look at the Thunder Lizard. The leader of the Fantastic Four couldn't help but smile when he recognized the anachronistic animal. "Devil?" Reed said. "It's been far too long, old friend. How have you been, and where is Lunella?" Devil hung his head at the mention of his longtime partner's name. He wanted to tell Reed all about how he and Moon Girl had been fighting crime in Manhattan's Lower East Side when the time stream entanglement created a rift in time and space that sent the dynamic duo spiraling in opposite directions across the Chronoverse. He wanted to explain how he ended up alone in the Collector's Gallery, only to be set free by Deadpool during a heist gone terribly wrong. He wanted to explain how he'd returned to his home timeline and had been living on Staten Island as a citizen of Deadpool's new Monster Kingdom ever since. He wanted to say how he hadn't seen Moon Girl in a far too long and was desperately worried about her, and that he had been searching for signs of her every second since he got back. But Lunella was usually the one who did the talking for him, so all that Devil could do was let out a forlorn grumble. Who needs a preteen genius as a BFF when you got me?" Deadpool asked, totally oblivious to his reptilian companion's emotional plight. "A bond like the one that Devil and Moon Girl share is rare, Wade," Reed said. "It's almost like they're two halves of the same whole." "No wonder the big fella's been so restless," Deadpool said. "He's just been pacing around on the picturesque shores of Staten Island, letting out these sad howls. But hey, at least they're loud enough to drown out the constant buzzing coming from that annoying collar of his." "His collar?" Reed asked curiously. "All right," Wade said. "I forgot to mention, that's the whole reason we took the ferry over to see you. I can't figure out how the heck to turn this stupid thing off." "Let me see," Reed said, as he began to tinker with the high-tech device strapped onto Devil's neck. "Some sort of cross-dimensional beacon. Lunella has always been decades ahead of her time when it comes to her designs. She repurposes everyday technology into extraordinary things. I can't even begin to imagine what she could achieve with unlimited resources at her fingertips." "Want to find out, Dr. Richards?" A voice unexpectedly replied from the speaker on Devil's collar. A wide smile instantly spread across Devil's face, revealing the countless sharp teeth inside his massive mouth. "A dinosaur can talk?" Deadpool said to himself. "I really did not expect him to sound so cute and sassy." "Lunella!" Reed exclaimed, speaking directly into Devil's collar. "I'm glad to hear your voice." "Yours too, Doc," Moon Girl responded. "But I ain't gonna lie, it's my baby boy, Double D, that I'm most excited to hear." Devil let out a joyous bellow in response to his partner's words. "Miss you too, Dev," Moon Girl said. "It's been tough out here without you. Way tougher than I expected." "Are you safe?" Reed asked, concerned for his young ally's well-being. "I mean, safe-ish," she said. "As safe as anyone can be when they're being retained against their will by a futuristic megacorporation that's trying to strip mine other timelines for their resources." "Alchemex," Reed said knowingly. "Of course they're involved. They're the ones behind the disruption in Lower Manhattan. As soon as their tower arrived in our timeline, everything began to unravel at an alarming rate." "Yeah, well," Moon Girl said, a bit of embarrassment in her voice. "I may have had a little bit to do with the whole time plague thing. I was trapped in the future and forced to work on Alchemex's experiments. I swear I was just trying to find a way back home, but I may have miscalculated ever so slightly." As we all do on occasion, Reed assured his friend. At least the widespread chronal fluctuations have been contained. For now. Hold up. Did you say Alchemex? Deadpool asked. I was just talking to Rogue the other day, and she told me that she and her uncanny ex-pals were unexpectedly attacked by a bunch of weird duplicates of themselves. Pretty sure she said it was Alchemex who made them. They were part of Alchemex's top-secret corporate raiders initiative, Moon Girl said. It was the company's effort to create a strike force of super-powered soldiers loyal to the brand. But their test run didn't exactly go as planned. The X-Men kinda mopped the floor with them. Turns out, no matter how much you technologically enhance a clone, it still can't beat the real thing. Sure, Deadpool agreed. Do you know if they're planning on using them anymore? Because if not, there's no reason to let perfectly go doppelgangers go to waste. We got a whole island of monsters to feed after all. Gross! Moon Girl said as Devil let out a disgusted snarl. Fine, Wade said. Probably better that way. There are way too many variants running around already. Plus, the real X-Men are still pretty miffed about the whole thing. I heard they're planning a strike on Alchemex HQ. They aren't the only ones, Reed insisted. I've been gathering allies as well, working on a strategy to eliminate the chronal disruption at its source. Well, as the girl currently sitting right at the center of that source, Moon Girl said, I think we need to be super careful about how we play this. There's a lot of power here that we're only just beginning to figure out how to harness. There's this endless energy source that Alchemex managed to tap into. They call it the Punch Dimension. I'm familiar with it, Reed said. A reality of pure and unlimited concussive force. I thought it was merely theoretical. The verdict is still out, but they aren't going to fool me with that theory, Moon Girl replied. They've got Cyclops trapped here with me, and I'm almost positive it's his concussive energy we're using. At first, he was trying to save me from Alchemex, but now he's been fueling most of the experiments here. I'm pretty sure it's not by his choice. Anyway, we even managed to infuse some samples of chronovium with some levels of that energy. You wouldn't believe how much it kicks up a crystal power's levels. You're right, Wade said. Based on the place's name, I would have thought it punched it up instead. Do you have any data from your analysis of this crystalline variant? Reed asked. I'm uploading it to Dev's collar now, she replied. For scientists from the future, the Alchemex research time is nowhere near our level, so it'll be nice to finally have another certified genius take a look at it. I guess I could spare a few seconds to read it over, Wade said. Reed connected a cable to Devil's collar, linking it to the lab's main computer. Instantly, a string of complex equations began to scroll across the screen. Interesting, Reed said, studying the numbers closely. This could actually be the key to solving a much larger problem. I hope so, Doc, Moon Girl replied, because so far, Alchemex is just planning to use this stuff to cause more of them. Oh, I can almost see the wheels turning in that big brain of yours, Reed, Deadpool said. What's the plan? Tony Stark and I have been working on perfecting our designs for the TRD, Reed began. Right. Good old Trudy. What is that again? It's been a few seasons. The Time Stream Reintegration Device, Reed continued. It was meant to mend the damage done to the fabric of reality by the time stream entanglement, restoring the remaining alternate dimensions to their proper positions in the multiverse. But though our designs were sound, we struggled to find a reliable energy source. And you think the Punch Chronovium might do the trick? Moon Girl asked. Indeed, Reed replied. It does have the power to rip holes between dimensions, Moon Girl agreed. Probably means it's got enough juice to patch them up, too. But I've seen plenty of your inventions, Reed. They're not exactly known for being portable. And for this plan to really work, we need to bring your TRD into Alchemex HQ so I can plug it directly into the power supply. Couldn't you just build it there yourself? Wade asked. They're keeping a pretty close eye on me, Moongirl said. They might not notice me reaching out to you on an encrypted frequency, but they definitely see if I started building an unapproved piece of tech. So it's going to have to be assembled out there and smuggled in. I'm not sure I can reduce the size of the device any further than I already have, Reed admitted. Leave that part to me, Moongirl said. I once made a warp engine out of my dad's old cassette player. I once made a life-size statue of myself out of mashed potatoes, Deadpool said proudly, desperate to be part of the conversation. Even if we manage to create a portable TRD, Reed said, it's highly unlikely we'll be able to get it inside Alchemex's tower safely. You're almost right about that part, Moongirl said. This place is a fortress with its own army of security guards. Some of the most advanced defense systems available in the year of 2099. It's almost impregnable. Trust me, Wade interjected uncomfortably. Anything is pregnable. Just ask the brood. Luckily, though, you've got a girl on the inside, Moongirl continued. I can hack into the defense grid and coordinate your efforts. All you gotta do is keep the Alchemex enforcers and their public eye pals occupied while someone gets the TRD to my workshop. And I know just the fellow for the job. What do you think, Dev? You ready to come back to Mama? I'm not sure I like that plan, Deadpool said. I know you and Devil go way back, but the big lug's grown on me since he came to stay in my monster kingdom. And making him a target like that seems like too big of a risk. I mean, he's tough, but not step directly into the line of fire against a battalion of futuristic soldiers tough. You're not wrong, Moongirl said, but if we armor Devil up, there's nothing from any timeline that could stop him. I whipped him up a suit once before, and he could take hits that would have knocked out the thing. I'd appreciate if you could send me the schematics for that armor, Lunella, Reed said. I'd be glad to construct an upgraded version for Devil. And when you come up with the specs for the miniaturized TRD, I can incorporate it directly into the suit as well. And then, once Dev delivers it to me, Moongirl replied, I can manually fine-tune its parameters and tap into the punch chronovium to undo all the damage it caused. And if that works as planned, Reed added, then we can scale up our efforts and finally fix everything. While you guys are busy building the MacGuffins, Deadpool said, Devil and I can rally the troops and get them ready for the big battle ahead. Sounds good, Moongirl said, but no rush. This might take a while. Ooh, Wade squealed. I feel a time jump coming on. Flash forward to several days later. Told ya, Wade said, entering the Baxter Buildings lab once again, now followed by a large group of heroes from across realities and timelines. X-Men, Avengers, and more. Ah, good, Reed said. I've just put the finishing touches on Devil's chrono armor, and the portable TRD is assembled, installed, and ready to deliver to Moongirl. Devil let out an eager snarl when he heard his partner's name. Don't worry, Devil, Reed assured him. Once we're done, you and Lunella will finally be back together. Alchemex did a number on my timeline, and now that I'm out from the vault, it's back to the mission. If we get to rescue an innocent... Oh, it's the Punisher, so let me rephrase all that. Alchemex did a number on my timeline, and now that I'm out from the vault, it's back to the mission. If we get to rescue an innocent kid along the way, even better, the Punisher said as he looked over at the massive creature. What do you say, Big Red? You ready to go to war? As his new armor finished locking into place around his giant frame, Devil Dinosaur let out a roar that shook the entire room. Then let's blow this taco stand and get ready to blast our way into Alchemex HQ, Deadpool cheered enthusiastically. Devil was well aware of the danger that awaited him and his fellow heroes. No one from any era was going to keep him from finally being reunited with Moon Girl after all this time, and anyone who tried was about to regret that decision for the rest of their very short lives. Well, alrighty then. That's the lore there. So, now to give my brief history of what I know of Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. So, truth is, I learned from them from the TV show. I never actually watched it, though, but the thing is, when I originally heard of this Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur show, and I saw that it was being made by Marvel, at first I thought, oh, it must be like an original property. Like, it's original, it's not from the comics, it's just, it's just original, strictly made for a TV show thing. But then I learned that, nope, this is a very real comic property. Devil himself, he debuted back in the 70s, specifically 1978. Designed and created by legendary Jack Kirby, which I will not doubt Kirby's choices of creating heroes and characters and creatures. So, yeah, I mostly knew them from the show, and while I never saw the show myself, I heard how it actually, a lot of people loved it. They liked it a lot. It was really it was fantastic, and a lot of people were disappointed that it only lasted for 2 seasons, which, I mean, it's such as it is with TV, but it's great to see that, we're getting more, I don't want to say obscure representation, but we're getting more what I want to call the uncommon representation. Granted, Devil made his appearance in the game back in Season 6, but at that time, I felt like he was just there as just, a background Easter egg sort of thing. But no, he's here to stay, and he is fun to play, that's for sure. Now, another thing I want to point out is right here, where it says Pet Avengers Disassembled. I have this weird feeling, especially with it saying Pet Avengers here, I have a weird feeling we are going to get a few more characters that will fill in and become the Pet Avengers. We already got Devil and Jeff here as well, so we already got 2 of them. While I don't know any other animals and creatures that could fit the Pet Avengers, I have a feeling that we are going to get at least a few more. We're going to get some additional members to make that a reality. So, yeah. Alright, that will do for this episode of Marvel Rivals. Now, join me next time in Rivals. What are we going to do next time? Let me look at the roadmap. There it is. Let's see. Zoom that in some. There's really, there's the Alchemex headquarters map, but I think that's the only thing that I can show, because there's really no additional stuff. There's no additional things here. There's new events, but they're more like, the Devil Dino hide and seek one, but then there's also the Savage Adventures, which will have more Savage Land representation, but those are just, again, little events to help you unlock more skins and such. So, yeah, the only new thing I'll be able to show off is the Alchemex headquarters, and it's not too far from here. It's only a week, about 2 weeks away. At least as I record this, it's 2 weeks away. So, yeah, I'll have it down, and hopefully, let's see. Let me look at the time. Let me just look at things. Yeah, yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that much for this half of the season. But once we hit the second half, I have a feeling we'll be able to get some additional content to look at. So I was seeing this in the thing. What is this? Okay, yeah. Go. Alright, so yeah, join me next time as I show off the Alchemex HQ map. So, that is it. And I will see you guys next time.